Hi, Paul Higgins here. What I want to show you in this tutorial is how to create charts of large areas, like a country. I'm going to show you an overview, show you how to set up the directories to store the information, how to create the HLGs. These are files created by SAS Planet that describe areas like charts. And we're going to create the charts using Sat2Chart. And we're going to display the charts on OpenCPN. What I want to show you now is an overview of what we're trying to do. So I'm just going to go to SAS Planet here. This is Taiwan. And what we want to do is make charts around the coast here first. That's what we're going to do first. I'm just going to show you that gradually. So I'm going to bring up the PlaceSpark Manager to show you how we're doing it. So the first one we're going to make is down here. We're going to create a chart that is 40 kilometers wide or 25 miles, and it's going to be at zoom level 15. And the second one is going to be up here, and the first one was made using a polyline. The second one is using a polygon, what we call a shoreline polygon. So I'm going to show you both. So we're going to go gradually around the whole country, creating these here polygons and polylines. Notice this one out here. This is a polygon, a shoreline polygon. It goes out around these islands. And then finally we do another polyline down to the start here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these coastline charts. And the reason we're making them one at a time is because these can be very large charts, and we don't want to make them too big. The next thing, after we've got the shoreline done, we want to make a overall chart all around this, and it's going to be at least the double of what this was. So it's going to be out like 80 kilometers or 50 miles, and it's going to be at zoom level 12. And after that, we're going to create detailed charts like this one right in here. This is Taipei Harbor, and we're going to make a chart of that, and it's going to be at zoom level 17. So we're going to have lots of detail for that. So that's the whole overview of what we're trying to do. The next thing I want to show you is how to set up the directories where we can store the HLGs and the charts. So if I go to the place where I store mine, I store them in a directory called Sat2Chart charts. So if I'm making any charts with Sat2Chart, I put them in here. So I've got a few entries here right now. I'll just show you one. This is anchoring in Indonesia. So if I open that up, you see it has two subdirectories. The first one is an HLGs directory. This is where SAS Planet is going to store the HLGs that describe every chart. And then we have another directory where we're going to actually store the charts. So if I want to make one for Taiwan, I would come back here and create a new directory, new folder, and I would call it Taiwan. Okay, and then I would go into that directory and create two subdirectories. So I create another, where's the new folder? I would create one called HLGs, and that's where the SAS Planet will store the HLGs. And I would create another subdirectory to store the charts, and we'll just call it charts. So we're going to store all the charts in there, no matter how many we're making. And that's all there is to creating the directories for the new place called Taiwan. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is create the HLGs for our eventual charts. So we're going to create 3 of them. The first one is the coastline. So if I go back to SAS Planet here, here is Taiwan. And as I said before, I want to create coastline charts here. And I want to use two methods to do it. The first method is we go to the Operations Selection Manager, and we use a polyline selection. And we want to be zoomed in quite a bit to do this. And by the way, if you want to move the chart, use your cursor keys. So we go down to at least zoom level 10, and we start creating a polyline. This is a polyline, the first section of the polyline. And you notice it has this window here. It says the radius is 20,000 meters, which means this is 40,000 meters wide, or 40 kilometers, or about 25 miles. So we just keep going along the coast here, clicking out in the water here, moving our polyline up the coast, and we want to go about halfway. So we're going to go, we have to zoom in to see it. So we go up to there. Now let's see, is that about halfway? Yeah, that's about halfway. So that is as far as we're going to go. Actually, to move it back a little bit. That's more than halfway. Okay, after we've got that, we have to finalize it. We come to this little window, and we click this little green apply button, and it brings up the selection manager. And the first thing we want to do is create a polygon for it. So we come down to the bottom here, and it says store selection as polygon. We click that. It brings up add new polygon, and we're going to put it in the correct category here. I'm just going to call it Taiwan, and it's going to be that name. You can change the color if you like, but it's not necessary. It takes a little bit longer to do that. And we click OK. So now we can see our first HLG here, and now we have to actually create the HLG or save it. So we go to this little diskette icon at the bottom, save selection info to file. We click that, and that brings up a save as window, and we want to put them in the correct directory. Right now it's not correct. So we have to go back up here, and we find in the SAT charts directory, we find Taiwan, and we select the HLG directory. That's where we're going to store it. And the first one is going to be called Coast 1, because we're going to make multiple of them. And we save it. Okay, then we can get rid of the selection manager. The next one we're going to create, I'm not going to use a polyline, I'm going to use a polygon. It's called a shoreline polygon. So go back to operations here, selection manager, polygon selection, and I'm just going to zoom in so we can see the shoreline. And I'm going to start right out here so we know we're at the same distance as their polyline that we've previously created. So we just click along the shoreline here. Go all the way out to here, and we'll go right out to the end of the Taiwan. And now what we're going to do is come back. So we go out to about here. Make a little. And we start going back down to where we started, and that looks pretty good actually. So I click the start again. So there is our second polygon, our second shoreline chart, or HLG, and it was created using a shoreline polygon. So now we got to finalize it. Press the apply button. In the selection manager, we click the store as a polygon, and here's going to be, and again, if you want to make the color nice so you can see it, it's not necessary, but we'll just do it anyway. So now we can see the second one. And now we got to store the HLG. We click this little diskette and it brings up the Save As window. And now it's in the right directory, the Taiwan directory. So all we have to do is give it a name. So we'll call it Coast 2. Okay? And then we can cancel it. So now I'm going to continue around here and make the rest of them. So I'm just going to stop the video while I do that. Okay, I've created the rest of the shoreline HLGs for our charts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Some of them are shoreline polygons. Some of them are polylines, like this one and this one. This one's a shoreline polygon. So let's take a look at our directory to see what we got. Go to Taiwan directory again. There's our HLGs. And then there are 5 of them there. So that's all there is to setting up the shoreline polygons, HLGs. Okay, the next HLG we want to create is the country one. So if we go back to our SAS Planet here, we've got our shoreline ones complete. So now we want to create a country one. So we go to Operations, Selection Manager, Polygon Selection again, and we just go around the whole thing here, keeping about the same distance as the as our previous shoreline HLGs. And we come up to about there. And back to the start, and that's all there is to the country HLG. So we press the little apply button here, brought up the selection manager, and we're going to create a polygon so we can see it, and we'll give it a nice different color here. We'll make it green, which is not necessary, but we'll do it anyway. And then we store the HLG for it. And we'll call it country. And get rid of the selection manager. So that's all there is to the country HLG. And the last HLG we want to create is a detailed areas. So for the detail areas that we want to look at zoom level 17. So we'll go back to SAT chart here, and we'll zoom into a place where we want to check in, which is Taipei Harbor right here. This is Taipei Harbor, and the easiest way to do this, get rid of that, is to create a rectangle around it. So I go to Selection Manager, Rectangle, and we just create a rectangle around the whole harbor. And we create a polygon for it, and we'll give it a nice color. Not necessary, but we'll do it anyway. And then we store the HLG, and this one is going to be called Taipei Taipei Harbor. Oops. To be or not to be. Okay, Taipei Harbor, and we save it. And close the selection manager. So now if we go back to our directory here, there's all our HLGs, the 5 coastline ones, the country one, and Taipei Harbor. So that's all there is to creating all of the HLGs. Okay, we've created all our HLGs. Now we want to create the charts. And we're going to use SAT to chart to do that. So I'm going to first off go to a blank screen here and then bring up SAT to chart. This is SAT to chart. And we want to first off make sure the SAS Planet options are correct. So we open the SAS Planet options. We want to invoke SAS Planet download. I'm not going to do any splits You can if you like. We want to use the multi-map support. We want to bypass confirming the chart selection, and we're going to use 8 SAS planets. We go back to our main directory here, and we want to create the charts from SAS Planet. They're going to be MB tiles. We're going to use a Navionics chart, so we'll set the depth units as meters. And then we have to make sure where we're storing these charts is correct, and it's not. So we click this little button here, and we're going to go back up and find our correct directory. So go to the Taiwan directory, and we select charts, and we save it. So now that's where we're going to store the charts, in the Taiwan charts directory. Then we go up to this polygon HLG field, and it's not also correct, so we click this here little button here, and we have to go back up to the correct directory, go to Taiwan, click the HLGs, and there's all our HLGs. We're going to select them all and click finished. And now what SAS chart is doing is going to ask you what zoom levels and maps you want to use. So it brought up this here window. It says what maps and zoom levels you want for Coast 1. So Coast 1 is going to be a zoom level 15, and we're going to use 2 maps, the Navionics one and the satellite Google Maps. And we're not going to repeat this. We're going to ask it for each of the HLGs. So the next one is the Coast 2. Same thing. Coast 3, Coast 4, Coast 5. And finally the country one. That's going to be at zoom level 12. We've still got the same maps. And we press OK. And then it asks us for Taipei Harbor. That's going to be at the zoom level 17. Still have the same chart or the maps. And we press OK. What SAS chart will do now, it will bring up it will bring up, let me see how many we got. 5, 6, 7, actually 14. It will create 14 HLG map combinations, but we only got 7 SAS planets, so it's going to bring up all. We only got 8 SAS planets, so it's going to bring up all the SAS planets to process this. And I'm just going to stop the video until that gets going. Okay, it has brought up 8 copies SAS Planet. They're all right here on top of one another. SAS chart has resized itself and brought up a progress window to show what each of the 8 SAS planets is doing. Right now they're all downloading. There's 6 still queued to process. You notice for every HLG it has both a Navionics and a satellite entry. Same with the rest of them. Okay, I'm going to stop the video again until this is finished. Okay, it finished. It created 14 charts, put them in this Taiwan chart directory. Let's go take a look at it. Go up here to the charts directory, and there they all are, all 14 of them. All these MB tiles at different zoom levels. We got the one for Taipei Harbor at zoom level 17. So that's all there is to creating the charts with SAS2Chart. Okay, the final thing we want to do is take all those charts we just created and display them on OpenCPN. So I go to OpenCPN here, down here. Here's Taiwan. And what we're going to do, right now it's displaying the CM93 chart. We're going to do a scan for new charts here. right up the charts option here, and you notice I put, no I didn't, I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to put it in the proper directory. So we're going to add a directory here, and we're going to go up and go to the Taiwan directory, charts, and we're going to select the folder. So now we got the charts for Taiwan in here, and we'll do a full scan for it. Okay, there they are. There's all our charts. So we can see them all. Where are they? Okay, there's some of our coastline ones. And let's see what else we got. The problem with this new this new OpenCPN, it doesn't show me what's down here, but evidently other people say that it does work. So let's try and find the one for the Taipei Harbor. Right in here somewhere. And it's right there. There it is on a satellite Google Maps, and there it is on Navionics. I don't know why I can't see it on here. Ah, there. There it is. There it is there. This is the detail we got for the Taipei Harbor. Okay, that's about it. Okay, I showed you how to set up the directories, creating the two directories, the HLG directory and the chart directory. We created those HLGs for the coastline, for the country, and for the detailed HLG around Taipei. We created the charts using those HLGs, and we used Sat2Chart, and we displayed the charts on OpenCPN. Thank you for watching.